हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सूर्याय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री दुर्गायै नमः। ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Bhagwan describes an enlightened person. He is the one who has gained that knowledge of the self, knows that even when the body, mind is acting, the self remains free from all activities. The self is free from all modification, all changes. There is no doership in that self. So even though an enlightened person is seen to be acting, but he knows that he is not doing anything. So karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha, is not doing anything. So shariram kevalam karma, just is seen doing karma to maintain his body, but doesn't acquire any impurities nor any sins, remains satisfied in whatever comes unasked. Yadricha labha santushtaha, free from all jealousies, hatred, dislike, remains same in success and failure. So an enlightened person's karma along with the phala gets dissolved here in this lifetime itself. It doesn't leave any impression to give result in future. So yajna yacharata karma samagram praviliyate, all his karmas along with their results dissolves here itself. Why? Because all his actions are yajna only. They are like a yajna, like a puja, like an offering to Ishvara. So how this enlightened person's karmas are yajna, and what is the meaning of what does it mean that all his karmas are yajna? That is now being said in the next verse. It's a very famous verse. So let us chant. Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. This verse is also chanted before we take our meals. This is like a prayer. We chant this verse. So what does it mean? For an enlightened person, everything has become Brahma. An enlightened person sees everything as Brahma. Therefore, there are no divisions in his mind. Division that I am a doer of this karma, these are the instruments of my karma, this is the karma which is being done, this is the result which one will gain through this karma. Such classifications, such divisions are not there. For him, everything is Brahma alone. Other than Brahma, nothing is there. So what are the things which he sees as Brahma? So here the whole his karma is described as a yajna. Like yajna is nothing but like puja. Just like in a puja we invoke the presence of Bhagwan in an idol and we offer our services to Bhagwan. In yajna, Bhagwan is invoked in fire. So a Havan Kunda is there and we use material like dried cow dung and some wood and all, and the fire is kindled in that yajna kunda, and the one who is performing that yajna, he chants the mantras and he has got all the equipment to perform the yajna, and there is that long stick, what you call spoon is there, ladle. With that he offers ghee and other samugris into the fire, chanting the appropriate mantra and saying that Indraya Swaha Idanna Mama, Prajapate Swaha Idanna Mama. So this is the yajna which is there explained in our Vedas as a duty which all of us should perform. But this yajna, not only this activity should be done as yajna, but one should have that yajna bhavana towards all activities which we are doing. So even the kartavya karma which we are doing, we are working for our livelihood, we are doing yajna dana tapak karma. So all these karmas are also to be performed with yajna bhavana, offering everything to Ishvara. There are these various factors are there in a yajna, which are all mentioned here. So it says everything is seen as Brahma, Brahmarpanam, Arpanam. Arpanam is that ladle, a long spoon with which the ghee etc. is poured in that fire. So an enlightened person looks at that ladle, Arpanam, as Brahma only. So Brahma Arpanam. And then things are offered, not only ghee, but also different types of herbs, dry herbs are offered in the fire. They are all offered to the devatas. So this Havi is also seen as Brahma by an enlightened person. Is the sound is okay now? Can you hear? Can you hear me? So Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. Okay. So Arpanam means that long spoon with which that Havi is offered. Then Havi is all the material, ghee and all the dry herbs, etc., which are offered in the fire. Then Agni, the fire in which everything is offered. The fire which represents that Ishvara, which represents the Devata, to whom all these Havi, etc., are offered, that fire is also seen as Brahma. Then Brahmana Hutam, the one who is performing this yajna, I, the doer of this yajna, so that I, the doer, is also seen as Brahma. And that the whole karma, the whole kriya, the whole activity of performing the yajna is also seen as Brahma. Hutam. Hutam means all the kriya, the activity of yajna is also seen as Brahma. Who is seeing all these things? The one who is enlightened. One who, for whom Brahma karma samadhina, for whom the whole karma has become Brahma only. Everything is Brahma for this enlightened person, whose antakarana is totally absorbed in the understanding of everything as Brahma. So Brahma karma samadhina, for one who is performing this whole karma in this attitude, what is the result? He says, Brahma eva tena gantavyam. he attains Brahma alone. That Brahma alone is attained by such an enlightened person. So this is the attitude of an enlightened person towards karma while performing his daily karma, even of asking for bhiksha, eating, drinking, sleeping, walking, talking. This karma is also seen as Brahma only. Therefore, all his karma along with the results dissolve here itself, and he becomes one with that Brahma. What is this Brahma? See, Brahma is that Shuddha Atma, the pure self itself is called Brahma. Again, to make it more clear, you must be knowing already. So, we experience that Atma in this body. We experience Atma in this body. Atma means we experience ourselves in this body. We experience ourselves in the waking, dream, and deep sleep. We experience ourselves. In the waking, we experience ourselves along with the body and the world. In the dream, we experience ourselves along with our antakarana. But in deep sleep, we experience ourselves devoid of all this. Devoid of the body, devoid of the mind, intellect, we experience ourselves as we are. So if I, the self, is like the space in this pot, the Sukshma Sharir is the thing inside, and the Sthula Sharir is this cup. So at present, we are experiencing Atma confined only to our body and mind. That Atma, which is experienced only in this body, we experience at three levels: Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking, dream, and deep sleep. But this is not the real Atma. In the sense, this is not the ultimate Atma. The ultimate Atma is called Turiya Atma. What is this Turiya Atma? Turiya Atma is the same Atma devoid of all this conditioning. Experience without having any identification with the body and mind. Without the conditioning. The Shuddha Atma it is called. It's also called Param Atma, Shuddha Atma, Turiya Atma. That Turiya Atma is also indicated in our Upanishads as Brahma. So this Brahma is Turiya Atma, is the Shuddha Atma alone. So an enlightened person is one who has recognized his own this self in this within this body is actually that Turiya Atma. It is like the space, the total space. The total space is like Brahma or that Turiya Atma. And the conditioned space is like Atma experience within this body, which is called the Jiva or the Kshetrajna or the witness, witness consciousness. That is the Atma experience within the body. So an enlightened person sees his own self as present everywhere. Means he sees himself as Brahma. He sees his own self as Brahma. So all the factors which are involved in activity, they have also become Brahma. Seeing Brahma everywhere means what? Seeing Brahma in all objects, seeing Brahma in all actions, seeing Brahma in all the factors involved in an action. Everything is Brahma. For example, let us say gold is there and gold ornament is there. So there are different gold ornament. There is a necklace, there is a bangle, there are earrings, nose rings. All of them are expressions of gold only. So what you see as a necklace is gold. But what you wear as necklace is also gold. The vyavahar of necklace is also gold. The movement which we see in necklace is also gold. So gold is not only the material, but even the activity is gold. Similarly, all the activities which we see are Brahma only. The world which we see, the material, the world which we see is Brahma, but all the activities which are happening in the world is also Brahma. That is what is presented here. So, Arpanam means the instrument with which the yajna is done, the spoon, long spoon. That means the instrument with which we see, with which we do action is Brahma. With what we do action? With our body, with our senses, with our antakarana. So for an enlightened person, his body is Brahma, his senses are Brahma, his antakarana is Brahma, the pancha pranas are Brahma. So Brahmarpanam. Then with this senses, whatever action we do, whatever offering we do, everything is an offering to that Ishvara. Just like we offer ghee in that fire, just like one offers the various herbs, medicinal herbs in the fire. Similarly, whatever is offered through the senses, we see, hear, taste, touch, these are all offered to that Ishvara. That offering is also seen as Brahma by an enlightened person. Seeing is Brahma, hearing is Brahma, tasting is Brahma, feeling is Brahma, thinking is Brahma. Then Brahmagno, the fire is Brahma, means for whom we are offering all this? To Ishvara. So that fire, the altar where everything is offered, all actions are offered, is Brahma, is that Ishvara, Brahmagna. So the fire is Brahma. And the one who is performing this action, the I, the Jiva, I, the one who is performing this action, the enlightened person sees this doer of action, the Jiva is seen as Brahma only. Aham Brahmasmi. That Aham who is performing this action is Brahma. So Brahmana. And the whole Kriya, the whole activity of this Yajna, all the activities which are there visible in a karma, all these activities are also Brahma. Therefore, the result of this karma is also Brahma. So Brahma Arpanam, the instrument is Brahma. Brahma Havihi, that which is offered is Brahma. Brahma Agnav, the altar at which everything is offered is Brahma. Brahmana, the one who is performing this action is Brahma. Hutam, all the activities of yajna is Brahma. And Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, the result of all this offering is also Brahma. So all this is seen as, recognized as Brahma only by one who is totally immersed in that understanding. His antakarana is totally immersed in that understanding that everything is Brahma. Brahma Karma Samadhina. Brahma Karma Samadhina. For him, everything has become Brahma only. See, when we, let us say, a person makes some dolls out of sugar. In the jatras and melas and all, they used to have these little dolls made out of sugar. So everything is made of sugar. So the elephant is sugar, the horses are sugar, the cart is sugar, the man is sugar, all the different vessels are sugar. So all the different things are there which are nothing but sugar. So if you just look at the form, everything appears different. But if you taste them, if you just pick up that sugar doll and taste, it is sweet. So the elephant made up of sugar is sweet. The horse made up of sugar is sweet. The person made up of sugar is sweet. The fire made up of sugar is sweet. Everything is sweet. Similarly, the one who has gained that understanding of that Brahma, for him everything is Brahma. Therefore, all his karmas get dissolved here and now itself. So it's a very beautiful verse. We should try to bring that attitude. This is very natural for an enlightened person to see the whole world as manifestation of Brahma alone. In Ramayana also Tulsidas ji says, Siya Ramamay Sab Jagajani. The whole world is Siya Ram. The whole world is Siya Ramamay. In the later chapters also Bhagavan says, Vasudevas Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. An enlightened person looks at this whole world as Vasudev, as Ishvara only. Such an enlightened person is very rare, but he sees the whole thing as Ishvara, for whom everything has become Ishvara. See, the very important thing, interesting thing and important thing is, the enlightened person also sees the differences. He sees the mountain, he sees the river, he sees the trees, he sees human being, animal, bird, plant. All these forms are seen differently. They have different forms, they have different activity, they have different utility. But he knows that in all of them, that one Brahma alone is expressing. Everything is expression of one Brahma. Seeing multiplicity is not a problem. But to think that all of them are different, they have different existence, is wrong. All of them are Brahma alone. That is called Advaita, Advaita Drishti. That everything is Brahma. Problem is not with everything. Problem is not seeing the presence of Brahma in everything. That which is beyond this Jagat is also Brahma. This Jagat is also Brahma. Nirgun is also Brahma. Sagun is also Brahma. Avatar is also Brahma. Jiva is also Brahma. Karma is also Brahma. All lokas are also Brahma. All the results of karma is also Brahma. Everything is Brahma and Brahma alone. Nehananasti kinchana, there are no differences. Everything is Brahma. So that Brahma drishti is attained by this enlightened person. Though we see him doing vyavahar in this world, we see him interacting with people, talking, walking, sleeping, thinking, deciding, feeling happy, feeling sad. All these things we see, but for that enlightened person, everything is Brahma alone. Nehana nasti kinchana. There is no difference of any kind. So a seeker, a sadhak should also try to bring this attitude in our life. We may not know that everything is Brahma, but when we hear from our teacher, when we understand from our scriptures, we should bring that bhavana in our mind. That is called upasana. Everything is Brahma, but we don't understand. But to bring that attitude that everything is Brahma is called upasana. So this karma yoga itself progresses, modifies, becomes better, gets transformed into upasana. In karma yoga, we perform all our duties and offer them to Ishvara. So we do our daily duties, we our worldly duties, we do our spiritual duties and offer them to Ishvara. But slowly and steadily, in all the different aspects of our duty, we should try to see the presence of Ishvara. That is the beauty of upasana. Just like we do puja. A stone is there in front of me in the shape of, beautiful shape of Ganesh Bhagwan. But the material is stone only, but it is shaped like Lord Ganesh. So I do the puja. I do the Purvanga puja. I purify myself, I purify all the utensils and all the material which are being done there. I invoke the presence of the Devatas. I drive away all the negative forces from there. I invoke holy rivers in the water which I am using for the puja. Then I meditate on Lord Ganesha and invoke his presence in that stone idol. And once I invoke his presence, I request him to come. Agaccha Deva Devesha, please come and reside in this idol. And then I start looking at that idol as Sakshat Bhagwan only has come there and offer my services. I wash his feet, I give him bath, I give him new clothes, I give him, offer him chandan, kumkum, akshata, etc., durva and all. And then I do what you call dhoop, deep, naivedya, arti, namaskar, dhyana and all. I offer all my services. And after doing the puja, doing namaskar and all, then I again request Bhagwan to again go back to his universal form. So, imagining and bringing that feeling of divinity in that stone, I do the puja. That is called upasana. In upasana, we have to use our imagination. We have to use our visualization. We have to bring that bhavana in us. And that bhavana purifies our mind. See, the idea in Karma Yoga is to purify our antakarana. So when we do our daily duties offering to Ishvara, it purifies our antakarana. But when we bring this attitude that everything is divine, it purifies our antakarana more. For example, when you drink water, it purifies, it quenches your thirst. It is good. But when I invoke the holy rivers in the water and drink, then it purifies my antakarana also. Like some person offers me water, I drink it. But if a person says that, oh, this water, I had gone to that Manas Sarovar, I did that yatra, I chanted Bhagwan's name, Om Namah Shivaya, I sat there and meditated, and then I did the puja of Lord Shiva, I did puja near the Manas Sarovar lake, and in that holy water I brought in this kamandalu, and I am giving this to you as a tirtha. So when all these things is said, and when that water is given, there is a greater bhav in my mind, and I take it with so much of feeling. That feeling purifies my antakarana. It has got a powerful effect on my antakarana. So this upasana is something which is fascinating. It is not ordinary karma, but ordinary karma associated with our feeling, associated with our visualization, associated with our imagination. It has got more power and more strength. There's a very famous story of Swami Vivekananda. He went to someone's house, and that person started discussing spirituality with Swami Vivekananda. And that person said that, oh, I don't believe in this, all this murti puja and all those things, upasanas and all. It appears to be very childish. Just to stone is there and you imagine it as God and start worshipping and all. So Vivekananda didn't say anything. He was sitting in that living room. So he saw one picture on the wall. He asked that person, whose picture is this? He said, it's my grandfather. As a little boy, I have that memory of my grandfather. Is to sit in his lap and he used to have so much love for me. So Vivekananda said, why don't you just remove that picture and I want to see it. So he removed that, brought it there. Vivekananda said, you place it on the ground. So he placed it on the ground. Then he said, you just tap on this picture. Just touch it with your feet. So he was horrified. He said, how can I touch? He's my grandfather. Vivekananda said, he is not your grandfather, it's just a picture of your grandfather. Your grandfather is dead and gone. He said, no, he is dead and gone, but his memory is there. And in this picture I can see his presence. I can feel his presence. How can I touch it with my feet? Vivekananda says that is precisely the idea behind upasana. You invoke the presence, just like you see your grandfather in this picture, though you know intellectually the picture is not your grandfather. Or like we invoke the presence of our country in our flag. Similarly, we invoke the presence of Bhagwan in an idol. So murti is there, which we have bought from the market, which while buying we must have hassled with that person also, ki kitne ka diya and all those things. But once we bring that murti, we invoke the presence of Bhagwan. Is Bhagwan only for us? And that attitude in our heart purifies our heart. So there is the upasana which we see in the life of everyone. In different ways, everyone is involved with upasana. We may not be aware of it. It is a very powerful tool which purifies our mind. If it is done properly, purifies our mind. So here it is said that we should invoke the presence here, that enlightened person can see the presence of divinity in everything. But for a seeker, as much as we can see the presence of divinity, so much it will purify our antakarana. See, Bhagwan is everywhere. But when we go to a Tirtha Kshetra, it has got a powerful effect on our antakarana. Bhagwan is in all the waters. But when we drink the waters, holy waters, it has got a special effect on our antakarana. All karmas are expressions of Bhagwan's power only. But when we do karma, thinking that this I am doing for Bhagwan, like puja we are doing, japa we are doing, tapa we are doing, going on a tirtha yatra, all these things are so very powerful that you can't imagine. See, God is there in all places, God is there in all directions, God is there in all karma, God is there in all objects, God is there in all beings. God being everywhere is not it will not purify. We have to bring that attitude in our mind. That will purify us. कि भगवान, ये जो मैं कर्म कर रहा हूँ इसमें भगवान है. So this shloka is chanted when we eat. So we should bring that attitude that this food which is there in front of us is Sakshat Bhagwan. The hand with which I am eating this food is also Bhagwan. The mouth in which I am putting this food is Bhagwan. It is followed and it goes into my body, and the fire digests that food. That fire is also Bhagwan. Through this karma, whatever result I will get, that is also Bhagwan. Everything is Bhagwan-may only. सर्वम खलविदम ब्रह्म, सब कुछ भगवान ही है. तो सब में और सब कुछ, हर वस्तु में, हर कर्म में, हर प्राणी में भगवान को देखना ही उपासना है. So this is a introduction to upasana. Now Bhagwan will explain and describe so many different types of upasanas. There are hundreds of variety of upasanas mentioned in our scriptures, but the bhav is there that bring that attitude. That is what which purifies us. Not just doing mechanically some karma, but bringing that attitude. We do national upasanas, on Republic Day, on Independence Day, we salute the flag. It's a upasana only. Flag is just a cloth, everyone knows. Every intelligent and every foolish person also know that it is just merely a cloth with different colors, with different colored strips. But that cloth represents the country. It represents the nation. And when we look at that cloth, when we raise that on that flag post, when we chant the national anthem, when we salute that flag, that it brings different bhava in our antakarana. That's all upasana. Suppose we bring some other cloth and hang it there and sing some other song which is not connected to the country. It will not bring that bhava. But if we get that proper flag and we chant the proper this national anthem and all, with properly standing and having that attitude, it will bring that bhava in our antakarana. Janaganamana. So similarly, upasana is a very, very, very powerful technique which our great Rishi Munis have given us. So many foolish people, they don't understand. Therefore, they don't understand that our Indian tradition also. They say, oh, look, idol worshippers hai, they do murti puja, they are foolish people, they do puja of everything. Whoever comes in front of them, they do puja. पेड़ पौधों की पूजा करते हैं, पशु पक्षियों की पूजा करते हैं. They do puja of the sun and the moon and the stars. They do puja of the rivers and mountains. We don't do puja of river, mountain. We do puja of Ishvara. But the beauty is we see Ishvara in everything. See, again, those religion which thinks Ishvara is different and the world is different, those religions which have the understanding that Ishvara, God, has created the world with some different material, if they don't understand, don't believe God as the material cause of this world, upadan karan, if they feel God is different and the world is different, then this concept, this understanding of worshipping the whole world as the expression of Ishvara will not come. That God will not be all pervading. So in our Vedas, Upanishad, it is said God alone has become the world. The material of the world is also God, and the one who has converted this material into the world is also God. Bhagwan is the upadan and nimitta karan of this world. Therefore, everything is divine. There is nothing non-divine. Everything is divine. But in Vyavahar, things are divided as good and bad, as pap and punya. That is a Vyavaharic thing, and this division is from a Vyavaharic standpoint, and we have to obey this division when we are doing Vyavahar, when we are doing transaction. Suppose you want to go into your house, you use the door, not jump from the window, or don't go on the ceiling and jump from there. You have to use the door. But when you have a drishti, you see the whole house as one unit. Similarly, we see the cow also as Brahma and a tiger also as Brahma. But when you do Vyavahar, you can go and approach a cow, but you should not go and embrace a tiger. The Vyavahar is done with the names and form. But the drishti we should have in our antakarana, that everything is divine. सब कुछ दिव्य है, सब में ब्रह्म है. See, just like a plate is there in which food is kept, everything is Brahma. But you eat the food, don't eat the plate, don't eat the spoon. The spoon is also Brahma, plate is also Brahma. So in Vyavahar, we see the differences only for interaction. But in our vision, we should have that vision that everything is divine, everything is Brahma. So Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaeva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is the vision of an enlightened person. So keeping this thing in mind, now Bhagwan in the following verses gives many different types of upasana. This is the highest. Ultimately, we have to gain this vision of Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. We should be able to see Brahma in everything and everyone, in all actions. But till we reach this state, we have to do upasana step by step. So every aspect of upasana, we should see that the presence of Brahma. So how that upasana have to be done? What are the different types of upasanas? That Bhagwan will tell now in the following verses. It's very interesting. So let us chant the next verse, verse number 25. Daivameva pare yajñam yoginah paryupasate brahmagnava pare yajñam yajne naivopajuvhati. Bhagwan says there are those yogis who do Daiva Yajna, means they perform action dedicating to the Devatas. So you consider those Devata as expression of Ishvara and dedicate all your actions to those Devatas. So you bring that attitude in your heart that these Devatas, the 33 Devatas which we have seen, then the Panchadev, the Ganesh Bhagwan, the Surya Bhagwan, Vishnu Bhagwan, Shiva and Shakti, all of them are expressions of one Ishvara only. So when we are doing our Kartavya Karma, whether the worldly karma we are doing or the spiritual karmas which we are doing, we have to bring that attitude that all this karma I am doing to Ishvara. I am offering all this karma to Ishvara. I am walking for Ishvara, I am talking for Ishvara, I am eating for Ishvara, I am going to work for Ishvara, I am doing yajna for Ishvara, I am doing puja for Ishvara, I am doing japa for Ishvara. So that Ishvar Arpan or Deva Arpan in all our karma is one type of upasana mentioned here. Daivameva pare yajnam yogina paryupasate. And all our karma should be understood as yajna, as an offering, as a puja. Even if you are doing your office work or doing some work at home, all this is puja of Bhagavan. Work is worship of Ishvara. You are working in the garden, that's also puja of Ishvara. You are sitting and doing something, or reading, or talking, walking, sleeping. All these activities are done as an offering to that Ishvara. So that is called Deva Yajna. Yajna dedicated to the Devata. So Devameva pare yajnam yogina paryupasate. So some karma yogis, they do this Deva Yajna, offering all their activities to the Devata, means the ultimate Devata, Ishvara. But the whole aim and goal of all this upasana is to finally understand ourselves as that Brahma, to gain that vision of Brahma, to gain the vision that everything is Brahma. That is now said in the second line of this verse. It says, Brahmagnava pare yajnam yajnena eva upajivvati. That ultimately the karma yogi gains that knowledge of that Brahma and offers his own limited self in the fire of Brahma. So Brahmagnao, in the fire of Brahma, Brahma I have explained, is that same Atma only, all pervading, existing everywhere, like the total space is like that Brahma, and this limited space within that cup is like Atma. So why that limitation is there in that Atma? Because I am holding on to this body, holding on to this mind. I am looking at myself through the body, through the mind. I am looking at myself confined to this body and mind. I am having a limited understanding about myself. But really speaking, I am unlimited. I am that all-pervading Brahma only. So what should I do? I should offer these limitations into that Brahma. I should offer myself into Brahma. I should become one with that Brahma. Means I should gain that knowledge of my oneness with Brahma and experience my oneness with Brahma. That itself is indicated here as a yajna, where the altar is Brahma and yajnam yajnena upajivvati, and I am offering yajna, means that Atma, that limited self, into that Brahma. Just like suppose you have water in this cup, and then there is the ocean. So the water in the cup and the waters of the ocean are one only. But because it is separately seen through this cup, I feel it is different. So when I pour the water from the cup into the ocean, what happens? The water inside the cup and the water of the ocean becomes one. Through this offering, the water inside and the water in the ocean becomes one. Similarly, this yajna which is said here, the Atma is offered in Brahma. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji writes कि सोपाधिकस्य आत्मनः nirupadikena parabrahma swarupena eva yad darshanam sa tasmin homaha. That this Atma which is seen with upadis, means with the body, mind, etc., is offered in that Brahma which is same Atma without any upadis, without any limitation. So when we see this, when we understand this, when we gain this knowledge and gain abidance in this knowledge, that gaining abidance in this knowledge itself is called this offering. Tam kurvanti brahmatmayakatva darshana nishtha sannyasinaha ityarthaha. So Brahma and Atma are one only. This knowledge, when we gain and we gain that abidance in that knowledge, this itself is called offering our limited self in that unlimited self. Offering the limited Atma into that Brahma. So this is the highest yajna. This is later on Bhagwan will call this as Jnana Yajna. This is the ultimate yajna. This is the ultimate what you call knowledge which we have to gain. But before we can gain this, we have to do other upasana. So all the other upasanas will purify our mind. Slowly and steadily, when our mind becomes pure, we will gain that jidnyasa, that thirst to know. Then we will gain that understanding, knowledge that this I am Atma is Brahma. And finally, that offering will happen when we will surrender our limited self into that total self. So this is the Jnana Yajna, which is said in the second line of this verse. But the first line is that Daiva Yajna, wherein we begin by offering our karma to Ishvara. More yajnas are mentioned in the following verses. These are all different types of upasana. And all these upasanas which we have to perform with yajna bhavana, like controlling our senses, like taking only the pure inputs into our antakarana, like dana and tapas and all these different types of upasanas are mentioned. Very beautiful portion which will help us to progress on our spiritual path and finally gain that oneness with the Supreme Self. More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. So you read your notes, contemplate on what you have heard today. If you have missed some point, you listen to this lecture again, and you can also like the video and share it with your friends and relatives in various groups so that more and more people can hear about this Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So stay safe, stay home, stay happy, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your upasana, remember God, and we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siyavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ